Alright, so we have tons of really exciting leaks to go over in the MonsterVerse game, including clothing concepts, game passes, loading screens, really cool customization options, as well as halos. And a lot of you guys didn't ask me questions about this, so I did some research in the MonsterVerse Twitter community and took some screenshots from there, and we're going to be going over it. Keep in mind that these things can change between now and the release of the game, and some of these things may not even be real. I did try to do my due diligence to make sure these things were accurate, but you never know. People can fake screenshots, they can change things, you never know. So keep that in mind, that to the best of my knowledge, this stuff is real and accurate, and that's all I can do. So anyways, getting straight into it, the first thing we're going to take a look at is the Femme outfit for the Vim Game Pass. Now, if you guys know what the Vim Game Pass is, it stands for Very Important Monster, and it includes access to certain clothing features like this set here, which, as you can see, it includes this arm piece here. It's kind of like a sleeve with this bow, very adorable. And then if you go to the next picture, you can see that it actually includes also these boots. Something that you'll see a lot in MonsterVerse is that a lot of their clothing has this crisscross ribbon pattern down the sides of items like pants and shoes. And what I think is really interesting is a lot of games will actually just make a decal, so they'll make a crisscross pattern and just put it on the shoe, whereas this game has actually taken the time to individually model every single string, which I feel like really goes to show the effort and quality of work that they put into MonsterVerse. Now, next up we have this skirt for the Vim Game Pass as well, which is a gorgeous skirt. I love this open concept here with like this spiderweb kind of pattern. This actually really reminds me of clothing from Infinity Nikki, not in a copying way, but just in the way that it's very intricate and has this open section at the front. And I like that how instead of just leaving it open, they added this intricate part here, which is this detailing that I feel like a lot of games would overlook. On top of that, we also have this headpiece, which is like this hat with pearls and pearl accents. And I don't know if a lot of you guys can see, but there's actually pearls on the forehead as well, which I feel like is going to make this look so intricate and really pretty. It's kind of giving like, I don't like Lolita, this hat. I really, really like it, and just all the intricate details. And again, we have the crisscross ribbon pattern on the headband portion there. On top of that, we also have the mask presenting version of this outfit, which I didn't get screenshots of the individual pieces, but you can see that the patterns with the crisscross is carried throughout. Down the legs here, they have these cool boots, this kind of top jacket portion that has these two wings going off to the side, and again, just a very intricate clothing piece. Now, on top of that, we also have these clothing assets. Now, I'm gonna be honest, it's very difficult, in my opinion, to tell what is part of the Vim Game Pass and what is just regular clothing. So I'm not sure what part these assets are from and what exact set they're from, or if they're toggles of the main set, who knows. But we have this really cool collar feature here with, again, the purling. We have this sleeve here with the crisscross pattern, and I like how it kind of connects to the middle finger here. I've never seen that on a sleeve, but I think it's a really nice touch. We have these earrings that have like a bat and a heart. This spiderweb Y2K spider headpiece here. We have these earrings, and as well as this little head bow thing that kind of droops down the side of your face. Something I really like about MonsterVerse is a lot of dress-up games will just make clothing that is mirrored. So it's centered on your head, or it's the exact same on either side, but MonsterVerse actually took the time to make asymmetrical clothing, which is actually quite a bit harder to do in my opinion, because it's harder to make it look balanced and, you know, right without it being exactly centered. But what I really like is how they have these pieces that are on the side of your head, or they sit sideways, or they have just like a, you know, asymmetrical look to them, because it makes them look a lot more natural and intricate and less robotic and stiff, which I really do like. On top of that, we also have this icon here, which I think is like a friendship bracelet thing, but I'm gonna be honest, I'm really not sure. We also have sneak peeks of femme and mask presenting clothing in general. This one right here is a mask outfit, which again, you can see the asymmetrical look is continued throughout this outfit. It has these matching boots to these little arm warmers, and just, I really like the coloring on this. I think it is so fun. On top of that, we have this notorious picture, which has been circulating for a long time now. This was a leak that was actually produced for the game quite early on, and a lot of people used in their videos, so this isn't really anything new, but again, it's still a very beautiful piece. We also have this picture, which I think this picture is really cool because it depicts different body types. We already know MonsterVerse has a goal of being inclusive and having different body types in their game, but I really like how in their character renders for specific sets, they actually include the different body types so you can visualize how it's gonna look. And again, a lot of games when they do larger body types will just stretch the more for the body sideways and call that plus size or mid-sized or whatever. But this game actually takes the time to properly model a bigger body type, and you can see that through the difference in the chest and stomach. It's not just stretched outwards, it's actually the stomach is protruding a tiny bit and the chest is a little bit more pronounced, which I really like how they made all the clothing compatible for the different body types, because other games say it's just too difficult and they can't do it, which this proves that you can't do it, so I don't know why you're not doing it. On top of that, we also have this concept art, which is for this sketch, which, as you can see, there is this rendering for it. I don't have a rendering for the mask presenting version of this, but we do have one for the femme presenting one. And again, the intricacy of this outfit is insane. If you look at just like the bottom of the dress, there's so much patterning, if that's like the word to use. There's a lot of detail. Again, the crisscross pattern is replicated again on this dress. There's pearls. It's really quite an extravagant outfit, and I think it's honestly really, really pretty. I've seen some people compare this headpiece to the Witching Hour halo or the Solarix halo from Royal High. You guys, this is a headpiece that has been used in art for hundreds of years. It's not like exact, but there's a lot of, depictions, especially religious, where there'll be these sort of like kind of symbols above somebody's head, or even just cultural. And this is not something that is solely created by Royal High. This is something that's been in modern art and culture for a very long time. And, obviously they've added some intricate details to this that is their own. And I don't think it's fair to compare it to Royal High. Side note, I do find that the Royal High community has been especially critical of MonsterVerze. I think mainly just because they tend to get pretty angry. If you look at the Royal High Twitter, you will see like dozens of my videos posted on there and people just calling me mean names, which is honestly silly. And not everybody in the Royal High community is obviously going to be toxic, but I think people get very quick to be defensive over their game when they feel like another game is like threatening the sovereignty of their game, which I can understand, but don't take that out on MonsterVerze or creators who talk about the game. I think that's kind of silly. We also have this leak here, which was for the mermaid tail, which look how much detail is in this. People were freaking out over the Royal High mermaid tails. Look at this one. There's so much attention to detail, and this actually really does raise the same question that I've discussed previously, is how is this game going to be compatible with slower running PCs or iPads or mobile devices? The more detail and definition you have on avatars, the more the game will typically lag. So I am curious how this is going to be compatible with mobile devices. I'm sure they probably already figured that out. But whether the textures are reduced or there's an option to reduce textures, I'm very, very curious, because obviously there's a lot of detail in all these items. On top of that, there is a screenshot of this halo, which is, according to the Twitter page, not the official MonsterVerze Twitter page, but the community page, people are saying that this will be purchasable in the shop, which is a really pretty and intricate looking halo. On top of that, we have some sneak peeks into customization and loading screens. So these are some loading screens that were uploaded to Twitter, and they're really, really pretty. I love the attention to detail. You can tell this one's meant more so to be like a Halloween themed one with the candies. We also have this one, which is very, very pretty. And then we have this final one, which looks kind of like part of the map. Now, if we scroll down some more, before we go into the customization, we do have actually these badges or these name tags that are going to be in the game. We have this one for lead developers, so people who've worked on the game, Dragon Investor, so I'm assuming that's people who've invested in the game in large amounts. We have Siren Benefactor, which I don't know what this is for. Chosen One, which I also don't know what this is for. Contributors, so people who contributed to the game, and then Angel Donators, so people who donated to the game. Again, I'm really curious what these middle ones are, but I really like how they've made these individual titles that will hover over your head in game, because a lot of games will just reduce them to color coordinated titles, which just, in my opinion, is a little bit lackluster. It doesn't really leave a lot to be desired. It's just ugly looking, and so I really like how they have these intricate kind of titles for people in the game if they contributed to the game's development. Now, getting onto the customization, there was some leaks from a video that was posted by the dev team where in the background you could actually see this customization. And I've seen a lot of people posting about this. Again, I took the screenshot from the Twitter community, but it has actually these customizations for items and hairs where you can actually move them in a variety of ways: the position, rotation, and the scale of the item. So position, you have these three factors here, one of which is the horizontal movement, so you can move it left to right. You can also move it up and down, and then you can also kind of like turn it different ways. So there's a lot of ability to customize your avatar in this game, which obviously has been something that the game developers have emphasized heavily throughout the development process, but I think it's so cool to actually see that they've implemented this. Keep in mind, this may not be part of the beta release. I'm not sure. This could maybe be part of a future update. You never know, so don't expect to open the game and see this, but it's really cool to see that they actually have made an effort to add this to the game, because there's other games, not naming names, that people have been bugging for this sort of system for years and nothing has happened because it's, quote, too hard. And we can see by MonsterVerze, their development, that maybe it isn't too hard. I'm sure it's a difficult thing to do, but if you want to do it, you could. Now we see here there's also a hairstyle section where you can individually color parts of your hairstyle: the scalp, the right side, left side, back strand, and tie. So obviously this customization is meant for specific hair because not all sorts of hairs will have a back strand or a tie, but it's very cool to see that you can actually color individual pieces of your hair rather than just having to use a generic color all throughout your hair. On top of that, we can look into the game passes here. I do want to say, which is a little bit confusing to me, but not everybody has the same prices for the game passes. When I saw this screenshot on Twitter from somebody and I checked my prices for stuff, it is not the same. Now, I took the screenshot earlier today, so these are the current prices for me. It may be part of Roblox's new thing where they change the price based on where you live. I'm not sure, but these are the prices that I saw right now. Keep in mind that these won't be the prices during release because they are going to be holding a sale on certain game passes. The Vim game pass, however, will be the same price. They are not going to put that on sale, which is understandable. So do keep that in mind that these prices won't be this high if you purchase it during the sale. There's sale amounts that are kind of varying by game pass, so I can't tell you guys the exact prices that they'll be, but just know that they'll be less expensive during the initial release. So if you want to get them for cheaper, you should make sure to buy them during the first chunk of time that MonsterVerze is out. Now, we have a variety of game passes to go over, and a lot of people are confused as to what they do. So this first one, Double Currency, is for 500 Robux, and it reads Double Currency Game Pass focuses on allowing the player to get double Ghoulers. This does not include crystals. So it's important to read the game passes before you purchase them because people will be quick to buy a game pass and think it's going to be for every currency in the game and then get upset when it isn't. So keep in mind this is only for Ghoulers, this is not for the crystal currency within the game. The next game pass I'm going to show you guys is the Vim game pass, which stands for Very Important Monster, and this one retails for 1,200 Robux, which a lot of people have said they think is a pretty steep price. In my opinion though, the stuff you get with it I think is worth it. It reads, this game pass allows you to reach rank 8 of our Vim status system. You get free items each rank. Vim changes seasonally. A question I have for this is, do you have to repurchase Vim seasonally? Like, is it like a Game Pass sort of thing or like a Fortnite Battle Pass type thing? Or is it something you purchase once and then every time it changes seasonally, you get the items still? I'm not sure. I don't think that's been clarified anywhere. So I'm curious about that because I think that would depend on whether or not I think it's worth buying. But if it is, you get to keep the Game Pass and you get to have it for all the seasonal items. I think that would be really cool because the clothing that we saw earlier, which was like the Vim clothing items, those are going to be what you can get with this Game Pass. And obviously they're a very beautiful set. So I would think that for 1,200 Robux, it is worth it. But I know some people have other opinions about that. The next Game Pass we're going to look at is the Decoration Game Pass, which retails for 300 Robux, and it reads, allows the players to change the color of UI along with customizing their profiles using borders, stickers, and etc. So again, it's just like a customization thing. It's more so, it seems like for client side, so it doesn't really impact your gameplay, it sounds like, but it's more so if you want your stuff to be a certain color, you can purchase this. So in my opinion, this isn't something that is necessarily crucial for gameplay, but if you want it, you can purchase it. This next one, Double Experience, retails for 350 Robux and is Double Experience Game Pass, allows the player to garner double experience in the game, whether it's fighting mobs or attending class, which personally, I think this one would definitely be worth it. Experience is a very tedious thing to get in a lot of games, and so I think if you have an ability to level up faster, especially in the early times of the game, I feel like you'll be in a better position. I'm not quite sure what the whole rarity system will be in MonsterVerze, but as someone who loves to trade, and guys, I was an avid trader in Royal High. There was some Royal High YouTuber yesterday that put out like a post about me on Twitter and was like, oh my god, this girl never even played Royal High and she's talking about the game. Ma'am, I own like the most valuable halos in the game. I played the game. I played the game. Let me tell you, I played the game. Just because I don't play it anymore doesn't mean I don't have a right to talk about the situation or just the game itself. And I definitely do think double experience, especially in the early stages of a game, would be really beneficial, especially if you do maybe eventually want to do trading or you want to get certain limited time items, because the game's first stage of development is usually when the most exciting stuff comes out, and players who don't know about the game will join later on, so you can have like certain items and assets that were only available for early people in the game, which I think is a really cool opportunity. And if getting double experience would help with that, personally, in my opinion, I think it's worth it. The next Game Pass we're going to look at here is the Double Luck Game Pass, which retails for 700 Robux, and it reads, gives you double luck on every luck-based system in the game. Your odds are in your favor with this Game Pass. Now, I'm not quite sure what exactly this may reference. I don't know, maybe there's like a wheel you can spin, or maybe there's like a fountain you can wish for, kind of like Royal High, which I'm not just trying to say this game is exactly like Royal High, but I'm just trying to think of like features from other games that are kind of similar in what they have. I know there's a gacha system because the next Game Pass is a gacha kind of thing, which gacha is kind of like a controversial sort of thing in, you know, Roblox as itself, because some people characterize it as being kind of gambly and other people just think it's always rigged. Personally, I'm a sucker for gacha. Infinity Nikki has like a gacha system and oh my god. Someone needs to take my credit card away from me because I can't be helped. But speaking of gacha, the next game pass is Double Gacha for 250 Robux. And it says allows you to redo any past mistakes for free. Didn't win the minigame, redo it. You have the Double Gacha after all. This is interesting. I'm assuming this is like a pass that you keep forever. Like you don't just use it once and have to buy it again, I would hope. I think it's something that you purchase once, then you always get Double Gacha, but I'm not sure. I'm sure as the game gets released, we'll learn more and have more clarity around that. Now, that all covered, we do also have a new kind of game thing that you can join for the countdown because all the moderation restrictions were lifted yesterday, and the description of it reads, beta release, this is a beta, bugs are to be expected, please report any you find and be patient, updates every Sunday. So they plan to do weekly updates, which is something that a lot of Roblox games can't seem to do, so this is super exciting. On top of that, they say, enter a world where the dead serve way more than the living. MonsterVerze is your all-access pass to the afterlife you've always dreamed of. Customize your look, discover unknown secrets, ride eerie trains to mysterious locations, and most importantly, survive in style. See you soon, witches. We've been dying to meet you. Which I personally think is a very, very cute little description for the game. And a lot of people, I feel like, will forget that this is beta and people will see a bug and freak out. Please be respectful in the way that you're addressing these bugs with the team. They do have a support system through their Discord server, so you guys can address it with them through there or through any other avenues that they've depicted through their Discord server. But please remember that being nasty about bugs and stuff like that, especially when it's a free beta, which a lot of games don't do, I think would just put a really bad taste in their mouths. A lot of games, especially a game of this, you know, and that's this highly anticipated, would typically make their beta paid, and so the fact that it is free and they're even giving you a free clothing item or like set for joining on the first 24 hours, and they're also giving you discounts on game passes, like I feel like this is a very generous game launch, and so I think the kind of room that you have to complain is pretty limited. Of course, people always have negative things to say, and negative criticism can sometimes be valid, but just being mindful of the way that you're wording it and, you know, being respectful with the dev team because they put a lot of effort into this game, and just hearing people complain constantly is probably really draining. So anyways, that's all the little secrets and spills I had to share with you guys today. Keep in mind this stuff is subject to change, and I collected all this information from the MonsterVerze Twitter community page, so it may or may not be fully accurate. I did my best to fact check things, but you never know. Anyways, let me know what you guys think about this in the comment section below. What are you most excited for in the game? And I will see you guys next time. Bye bye!